Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining my session again. Hello, Louis. It's good to see you. How are you, Louis? Louis, are you able to hear me? Let me check my microphone, and everything should be working. Well, I'm glad that you're here again, Daniel. And you asked in the last session if all of my classes were the same. This one is probably a little bit differently. This one is more my talking to you and giving you some tips and some strategies to help improve your ability to increase your ability to speak English fast. However, when people ask me how do you do that, it all becomes relative when I ask what may be quick to some may take years for others, and what seems like years for others seem very quick. So it's all relative. It depends upon your frame of reference and what you're thinking about. Monty, hello, how are you? And welcome back, Ruben. Today's lesson is on how to speak English fast. So let me go ahead and pull up my lesson for today.
Mhm.
Here it comes, I believe. And here's my lesson for today. So let me ask you, when you hear the words speak English fast, what exactly does that bring to your mind? What would your expectations be if someone said that you could speak English fast? What do you think? And it's
Um,
anyone, I won't necessarily call on you, it's open. Just start talking. Just talk with me.
yes, when I heard that, heard that is that um, make a reference to speak with fluency, without thinking. With you can talk, uh, improvise in any topic or talk about any topic that you can find someone on the street or in your school, and you were able to speak without asking what. How do you say that? How do you say this? What is that? What is this? So that's what I think. That's what I think when I listen. Speak English fast.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Does anyone else?
I think, may I? Mm, May
Yes,
I?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Tatiana.
I think to speak fast, to speak fluently in English, it means, for example, for me, I don't need to translate from my native language into English. I don't need to think about how to translate. I just speak.
Mhm. Very
It
good.
means fluently, yes, and I can speak in different topics about everything, about weather, about books, about situation in the world, about everyday life.
That's excellent, Tatiana. And the good thing about being able to do that, your words line up very nicely when you start to speak. When you can speak fluently, your words line up nicely, and you don't have to worry about if you're saying something grammatically correct. The word on the street, when you're meeting people, they're not looking to see if you're going to speak grammatically correct. They're looking to see if you can speak so that you can be understood and they won't have to ask you again. What did you
Yes,
say? What did you
and
say? Could you repeat that again? It can be very frustrating for both the listener and the speaker. You have to continuously repeat what you're saying. So we're still just talking about what does it mean? What does the title topic mean to you? What did you think when you saw Learn How to Speak English Fast? Okay, anyone else?
Yeah,
Daniel?
you gotta speak fast without using fillers. Uh, uh, just speak fluent without
Mm-hmm.
using that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Good. Okay. Julia and
Hey, hello.
welcome. Hey,
Hey, Priscilla.
it's good to see you. Okay, what did you think when you saw the title Learn How to Speak English Fast?
Well, I thought either this was a tongue twister class or we were gonna learn how to speak with a better rhythm and flow.
Okay. All right. Michael, what did you think?
I was thinking about what techniques, tips and tricks should you do in order to learn speak English fluently?
Okay. Anatoly, what did you think?
I agree. It is when we are able to speak without translation inside our mind, and maybe just detail. We can see dreams when we are sleeping in this language.
Very good. And David, what did you think?
Hi Priscilla, I was thinking it improve the English skills and speak more faster, more fluent, like in your native language,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay. More or less. Roxana, what were you thinking?
Hello, Priscilla. I think that's one of the important things in fluently speaking. It's feel comfortable in it. You don't have a lot of time or thinking to speak something.
Okay, very good. And I will tell you, when I wrote the topic title, I was thinking, I'm not really sure who would be coming, what they would be coming for, but all of the answers that you're going to receive, the answers are going to come from you. I'm just going to give you some examples, some comparative analysis that you can look at and you can think about. Does this make sense? Well, if it doesn't make sense, then keep doing what you're doing. If what I suggest to you makes sense, then you might want to try doing something differently. So we'll just see how that goes. Louis, what did you think when you registered for this class? Louis? Louis? Okay. Well, Louis, whenever you're ready to speak, you can speak. But right now, you're not. All right. I don't know, sometimes when you're using technology, it's really fantastic when technology is working, and it's really not so good when it doesn't work. All right. All right. For those of you who are not speaking, if you'll just mute your microphone, I probably will not mute mine, only because I will just open it up and close it. But if I need to mute mine, then you can just let me know that, and I'll do that. All right. Well, here are some thoughts about learning how to speak English fast. Anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. If you're going to take time to do it, you may as well take the time to do it well. Let's see. Louis, could you mute your microphone, please? Okay, it's muted now. Thank you. I'm going to take my visual down. Then that way, maybe those that have their visuals up, the live ones, you can take those down. Maybe. Thank you, Louis, for muting your microphone. Let's see. Anatoly, Daniel, David, Julio, Louis, Michael. Michael, mute your microphone. Roxana, Ruben, and Tatiana. So that might be Michael's microphone that's not muted, and it's making the
Mine
sound.
is muted. Is muted.
Okay.
I have a button, muting button.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. Now, what I wanted to share with you is a document, and we will talk from this document. And here is the document. It says how to learn English very fast. Now, to learn English, it will require that you become obsessed with the language. In a nutshell, you must have an incredible thirst and hunger for speaking the English language. What exactly does that mean, that you must become obsessed? You will get vocabulary as we discuss this today. What does the word obsessed mean?
When you have a fixation on something.
Okay. Can you give me an example of that something that might be a...
Sometimes fans get obsessed with singers or actors and they stalk him. Wherever they go, they have pictures of them on their walls and stuff like that.
Okay, is that similar to basketball players, football players, and things of that sort? An obsession with that, that you just want to be in their presence. You can't eat, you can't sleep for wanting to be where they are. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're giving me an example of, Julia?
Um, yes, I couldn't understand because there was a lot of background noise from Luis.
Okay.
It was kind of tricky.
Okay. So you gave me the example of movie stars and singers, and I added to that basketball players, football players, soccer players. People become so infatuated with them that they lose all sense of themselves. They want to be with those people.
Hmm.
They can't sleep for thinking about them. They can't eat without thinking about them. They stalk them. They are completely obsessed. How many of
Yes.
you how many of you are actually obsessed with the English language?
Me.
Okay, Tatiana. So if
Yes.
you are obsessed with it, can you share with us what it is that you do? What are some of the
Um,
things you do?
it's obsession which makes me uh, get up early in the morning, get up at 6 o'clock. I get up with English. I go to bed with English every time. For example, I have some dialogues or new expressions in my phone, and when I get up, I switch on telephone and listen while I'm in bed, and then I go to the bathroom. I'm with my telephone. When I go to the kitchen, I with my telephone with my dialogues, and when I go to street, I with my English. I have a sheet of paper where I write new expressions and new words. I want to teach. I want to be a teacher, and that's why I'm obsessed English.
Very nicely stated. I want to just come back because I want to say that apparently you were in one of my classes the other day, and I was saying that in order to speak fluent English, to get to that point, you literally have to eat, sleep, drink, think English all day long. And the thought was, how can you do that? In the morning, I said, when you get up out of bed, you say, yes, it's time to say something in English. Sit down at the table and say, yes, yes, English, English, English. And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah, you are right. Can I edit? Now I practice spells. Do you know what does it mean? Spells. I can do everything. I learn English. I know how to remember new expressions. Yes,
okay,
I do it.
yes.
I've done it. It's spells.
You're
It means
espousing,
spells.
you're espousing,
Yeah,
you're espousing this. Yes, I can. Yes, I
yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And when you do that, you're actually training your mind to believe something that you know can happen. Sometimes your mind is a little slow in catching up. So, yeah, it's like casting spells. Your mind is a little slow because your mind is stuck in a place where it's comfortable doing what it has done for so long. And anytime you do something that is different, there is going to be a little bit of resistance. And that is in every faction of life, probably with everything that has life in it. There is resistance. There's resistance to the ants when the ants are trying to build their ant hills. There's the dirt that they have to remove, but they keep trudging along at it. And eventually, when the rain comes, you see all this big mound of dirt. And that is what you have to do. You have to do a little bit, 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 a little bit. I think it was, I can't think of who it is. It was in my class earlier today, and he said that he wanted to remember something, and he couldn't remember how he could make himself remember until he heard me give him an example of how he could remember. I use a lot of imagery when I'm trying to remember something, not just teaching classes, but things in my personal life, things that I want to remember. If I want to go to the store, I put some things in my hand. I want to remember 2 bags of this, 2 eyes. I've got 2 eyes. I need 2 tomatoes. I put images in my mind so I won't forget. And when you start doing something, whatever that something is, you need to have a strategy. And if you follow that strategy consistently, you will get it. For those students and participants who say that they want to speak English fluently and they have an IELTS exam next week or next month, well, when did you really think that you wanted to start taking or preparing for the IELTS exam? If you're taking the IELTS exam next month and you just started practicing, it can be done, but it is going to be all-consuming. You have to do nothing but think in English every opportunity that you get. Talk to the birds, talk to the flowers, talk to yourself, talk to your hand, count your hands and say, this is a word that I learned today: obesity, challenge, airplane, motorcycle, and create sentences, mini stories. Create mini stories for you to study. Mini stories are something that are just what I do. I present a mini story, we read it, we read it, we read it, and then we try to build vocabulary and something that will stick to you, and you take it with you from my class to the next class and into your whole day, all day and every day. And pretty soon, those mini lessons, the word mini being small, will start to add up, and you have a huge vocabulary that you understand. You have a full repertoire of idioms that you understand, and you understand all of these in context. So, now, in a nutshell, you must have an incredible thirst and hunger for speaking the English language. Now, this is written so that you can actually see a picture of this. How many of you can actually see a picture when you read this? In a nutshell, you must have an incredible thirst and hunger for speaking the English language. Can you actually see a nutshell? Can you actually see thirst and hunger and the desire for speaking the English language? I'm not necessarily saying that if you can't see it, you have a deficit, but I believe if you can't create an image in your mind for that sentence, you are operating at a deficit. Do you understand what I mean? How many of you? Okay, is anyone in the forum that does not understand what I mean? Okay, great. So now let me just take you down to the pictures. Here are the rules for learning to speak fast. Look at all of the images that I have here to help you imprint upon your mind. To learn English, it will require that you become obsessed. Who can explain this obsession here? And there is not a right or wrong answer. This class will give you an opportunity to speak and say what you think. Who can tell me what this, how can this picture represent obsession?
Well, this guy looks like a magician.
Mm-hmm.
He's pulling stuff out of his hat or magic hat. He seems to be very focused, very concentrated on what he's doing, like looking for something inside his hat. So probably he's very obsessed with magic.
Very nicely stated. And that's what a magician does. A magician becomes obsessed with what he's doing. So now, when I hear the word obsessed, I know that if I want to be good, if I want to cut someone in half, I've got to be obsessed with knowing how to do it, how to hold the knives, how quickly I must be able to do it. And now it's very clear in my mind that if I'm going to learn to speak English, or in my case another language, I must become obsessed with it. I shared this information with another class. When I started with Verbaling, I did just as, I'm not sure who said it, but in my room, I don't know if you've seen this room. Well, I have a bedroom, but this is not my bedroom. See this chair back here? This is a chair, and my computer is right here in front of me. When I wanted to teach on Verbaling, I listened to Verbaling for about 1 week straight, every night. This is where I slept, and Verbaling teachers were teaching. and I was listening, and I was trying to understand how did the students interact, what seemed to be exciting, and then I think, how did they get that document up? And thanks to Julio, now I know how to get some more documents up. So you learn by being open to what people are giving to you. So I eat, sleep, and drink Verbaling. And then when I did get the appointment to work with them, I wanted to be one of the best teachers that they have. And I thought, well, where's everyone? I didn't get anyone the first day. And I'm glad I didn't get anyone because I didn't know what I was doing. I opened the class and closed the class. And you get a report on what you do. I had canceled 5 classes. I didn't know I had even started any classes, so I had opened them and closed them. And it's a learning process. But guess what happens? The more I fail, the better I became at working with the technology here at Verbaling. So this is what each of you will do as you pursue speaking excellent English. The more mistakes you make, the more classes you come to, and you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm so far behind. But the fact that you're committed and you're coming and you're continuing to come, you're going to get better and better and better. And with my classes, the vocabulary, most native English speakers do not have a huge vocabulary for general talking. If we're talking about something specific, then it's different because we have a subject content. But in generalities, it's, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. What about you? We don't really care how you're doing. We're just saying, hey. Then if you want to grab a bite to eat, we talk about the sandwich. We both probably have the same sandwich. We all eat pizza. We all eat a salad. So how many different things can you say about the salad? So your vocabulary does not have to be huge, but you do need to start. And once you start, I would encourage you to read. And when you find something that you enjoy reading, you'll be reading for the enjoyment, not so much that you would want to use that vocabulary with the people that you're associating with, because most likely that is not the language, that is not the vocabulary that you would actually use when you're speaking with someone. So I want to say that I'm very passionate about being here on Verbaling, and I want to do a very good job here at Verbaling, so I still do a lot on Verbaling. Today I have done, I think, 6 consecutive classes, and now I will be on until 4 o'clock in the morning. It is now 12, so I'll do 4 more consecutive hours because I want to build up my appearance on Verbaling. I want everyone to have the opportunity to decide if my classes are going to be beneficial. So I have to make myself available to the times that you are available, not when I'm available, because right now I am pursuing students. So I have to make myself available when you want to come online. All right. Any questions about what I've said? If I need to repeat something, I'll be happy to do that.
Well, I have a question.
Yes, Louis.
Okay, I'm a teacher. I'm an English teacher here. I'm from Nicaragua, and I have 4 years teaching English. And I have difficult with the students because all the time they want to learn English. Okay, the first question that they ask me when they enter to the courses is, how long time I'm gonna be a native speaker? And I say, okay, depends of you, not of me. Okay, 90% or 95% will be depends of you. And they they want to learn English through grammar. They don't want to learn vocabulary. They don't want to learn to read or listening. Just want to learn through grammar. And I have a lot of problems with them because they when they finish the class, they didn't study. Okay, they open their books to the next day, and they want to learn if will be a magic or something like that.
So let me comment on that for you. Here's where the problem is with that, if I want to call it a problem. If you're not a native English speaker, which it doesn't sound like you are, most likely it is going to be hard for you to convince someone that their approach may be wrong. I may stand a better chance of getting someone to believe that grammar is not the route to go because I'm telling them as I speak it, as I live it. Most foreign language learners that I have met online and in my home state of North Carolina, they know grammar better than I do. The problem is they don't know how to converse in English easily. And that's why I'm not a grammarian, but I am a conversational English coach. I'm a conversational English coach because English is my first language. Therefore, I become the expert on if what you're saying makes sense, then you are conversing. In my sessions, I teach you how to develop the ability to talk quickly. So I constantly use my hand. I'm going to bridge where you are over here with where you're trying to get. So I scaffold what you are trying to do. Most people, even Americans who are obese, here is an example. If they're obese, they feel as if I'm 200 pounds overweight. So therefore, in order for me to lose this weight, I need to do 500 miles of walking in 1 week. I need to do pull-ups every day for 50 minutes. I need to swim for 30 minutes. No, you need to do a little bit of something every day, because if you don't do it, if you try to do too much, you're going to get burned out. Now, if you are on these TV shows, which is like we have The Biggest Loser, and these people lose a lot of weight in a short period of time. The thing that these people have going for them is they have a coach. When you have a coach, you can do anything. Whether it's playing soccer, singing, basketball, if you have a coach, you can do anything in a short period of time. Most people can't do it. I can do it, Tatiana can do it, but most people cannot take it upon themselves and be self-directed. They say they want to do it. They say they want to learn English. They say they want to do this, that, or the other, but they don't have the passion. They don't have the passion nor the desire to give up sleep, give up food, give up going out, seeing their boyfriends, seeing their girlfriends. They don't have that passion, and therefore they will not achieve it without having a coach. Now, for your students who say they don't want to practice English, I think they're saying they probably do not want to practice English with someone other than a non-native English speaker. Here's the problem with that. Most native English speakers, we love speaking with foreigners, someone who doesn't speak English. What we don't like is, could you say that again? Tell me how you say that. What do you mean by that? Oh my God. If you, my friend, asked me one more time to tell me what does it mean to curl up and die, I'm just going to curl up and die. So we hate to keep telling you the same thing over and over again when you say you want to be my friend, but you're only doing something more selfish-like. And if you really wanted to learn it, you would do as Tatiana is saying. Write it down, look at it, write it down, write down the next thing, and then practice with someone else. But when my friends keep asking me the same thing, they soon become unfacebooked, you know, drop. So we don't particularly care for that. If you are a true friend, we'll talk for you for a short period of time, and then we go from that short period of time to You know, once a week, once a month, we get to talk, but not every day to explain the same thing that we keep talking about. So that is not what we want to do. We don't want friends that we have to teach. That's why you go to classes and you go to coaching. So I would say tell your students that the best thing for them is to learn to interact with language. The grammar will fall in place as it should, because if you can't ask someone how to correct something, then you're still where you are, because I can't correct what I can't understand your question. When I can't understand your question, I can't help you anyway. And yes, Narelle, if you have something and you don't use it, you will lose it. But you can pick it up. I haven't ridden a bicycle in a very long period of time, but I think if I get on a bicycle, I will be able to ride a bicycle again. All right, so I'm going to go back now to our document that is
Can I
full
ask
of...
a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Why would you recommend to improve on the accent? Like, because I see that the main problem is accent. What would you recommend? Like, what tips and tricks or something?
Okay, are you saying that's your main problem, or that's the main problem of many? That's your main problem?
Yep, I see. And yes, of course, I make grammar mistakes, but I think that more important for me is like to work on my accent.
Okay, and why do you think it's more important for you to work on your accent?
Because native speakers do as well, make as well grammar mistakes. I've noticed in many classes that teachers, they make mistakes, like simple mistakes, but they have like good accent.
Okay, well, I will tell you that it's probably, this is just my opinion, because you are in a small environment. Being on Verbeling, although Verbeling is huge, but it's a small environment. If you came to the States, to the United States, and you speak English well enough for someone to understand you, if we're understanding you, we actually like the accent. I think I'm speaking for most of us. We like the accent. What we dislike is someone who pretends to be something that they're not, which is an American. So that accent that you have, my doctor is from India. I understand him perfectly, but he certainly has an accent. And I would not want him to not have his accent, because it is actually denying what he has as something that's more intimate to him. I'm not saying that you should not try to improve your accent. Here's my life example. My ex-husband is Nigerian. He had an accent when I married him. He still has an accent. And he is well positioned in an American company for employment. If you know what you're doing, you don't have to worry about how you sound if you can speak and your words line up correctly. Now you have a problem, even Americans who do not have an accent. If they don't know what they're talking about, they're not going to get the better jobs. So I would suggest that you not spend so much time on getting rid of the accent, but on making sure that you know your craft, you know the content of whatever it is that you're talking about, you know your subject matter, whether you're working for a software company, a oil company, or a teacher, whatever it is that you are doing. Tatiana, we have a lot of teachers here from other countries that are teaching our English-speaking students math and science. Not English, but they're teaching them math and science and social studies. So it has nothing to do with, well, it does not have as much to do with the way you sound as it does with how much you know. If you don't know your content, then whether you have an accent or not, you're not going to keep the position. I hope that makes sense. So
yep.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Don't worry about the accent. Yeah. What did you want to say?
I was just saying, yeah. Don't worry. Don't obsess about the accent. obsess about the understanding, learn the idioms. I was in a class, was it you, Daniel, that said the SHIT word? Daniel?
Sorry?
Did you, was it you that said SHIT in my last class? And I told you that I told you that that was an offensive word, but you didn't know that it was.
Yeah.
So,
What?
SHIT.
SHIT. Oh, okay. Like SHEET.
Yes, like a sheet of paper. Yes.
Yeah.
But he wasn't saying it in an offense to be offensive, and I know that. So there are some things you just have to read a lot, learn a lot, and you know, when you are around Americans or native English speaking people or people who have been here in the States for a long period of time, you'll learn what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate. And what is appropriate in some arenas is not appropriate. Like my son probably uses that word maybe every third sentence, but he would never use it around me because it would not be appropriate. And you may hear songs and you think, well, it's okay to sing that and say that. No, it's not. It's not appropriate. So it's those types of things that you would be better served in learning that culture, learning the appropriate culture in situations where certain things are appropriate, as opposed to trying to spend time on improving your accent to sound more like a native English speaker. But now, mind you, I'm not saying that accent reduction would not help in some situations, but in the majority of them, it's going to depend upon what you know. If you're good at what you do, they're going to pay the dollars to have you. You would need to have perhaps a network, someone that can speak up for you, someone who can give a reference to you, because you have to get into the door. You've got to get the interview before you can get the job. And if you don't build rapport with someone who can introduce you to someone, your resumes, I would say spend time learning how to write a resume. So many foreign language students that have asked me to look at their resume, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm not in a position to hire anyone for anything, but I certainly would not entertain that person, even though that person may be very good at what they do. Their writing is horrendous. It's awful. But it can be corrected with some help. But once you get the interview, you know, you're pretty much well set if you know what you're doing. I think you are the best I have ever seen in Verbling. Yay! Thank you. All
Teacher,
right.
I want to say something like really quick.
Yes, Julian.
Me as a Verbling student, I'm just really looking forward to two things when I'm taking a class.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to share it. I mean, with everybody to know if they feel the same way as I do, or and also I comment that to the teachers every time, every chance that I have. That I'm looking for two things mostly, which is quality speaking time. Which I don't mean quantity, but quality. And feedback. And sometimes, I mean, many teachers, they don't really give us feedback. Like sometimes I notice that I make mistakes while I speak, and but they don't really point it out. And I think that the only way, and it's not becoming obsessed with the grammar, but the only way, as how I feel, is the only way to improve my speaking skill is getting feedback from the teachers. If I'm telling something that sounds off or that might not be appropriate in the context where I'm using it, I want to know, because I have my notebook here and I write everything down, and I think that's very important for, at least for me as a student, to get quality speaking time and feedback.
Okay.
And I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I can really appreciate what you're saying, but the classes are only 60 minutes in length. Every student has the option of taking paid classes in addition to what you are doing here at Verbling. Verbling is this is just my impression. Verbling is a portal for everybody who can't pay a tremendous amount of money to come and get a little bit of something as often as they can 24 hours a day. And if you're fortunate enough, you find a teacher that's online for an hour and you're the only one in the class, that is just like taking a private class. And all the luck to you. And I do believe that if that teacher has it within him or herself to give you what you're asking, they will give it to you. Now, in my case, you will always hear me say that I am a conversational English coach. I am not a grammarian, so you never even need to look for me to correct your grammar, because I don't necessarily know what the correct grammar is. I know what sounds right, I know what feels right, and I know what I'm communicating. So that would be what you would get from me. If you say something grammatically incorrect, and I think I said that to you before, that I'm not a grammarian. I don't come to the Verbling with a book to tell me that this is a verb to be, this is an adjective, this is a descriptive noun, this is all that. I know what they are, and if I don't know what they are, if I'm doing scholarly writing, I know how to do the research and get it done. But in addition to that, let me just do my little plug for myself. Within the next 8 weeks, I will have my doctoral degree designation, and it is in educational technology with the focus on the English foreign language learner. How are you all learning online, and what are the best methods to do that? So for about 7 years, I have worked online with foreign language learners, and I said in another class, I don't mean to be offensive to anyone when I say this, but the language learners are very lazy. When I gave them everything that I would give them absolutely free, they didn't want to do the work. Oh, this is too much. My uncle died. My brother got sick. I couldn't do it because this or that. And it was very frustrating that I would put lots of things together only to find out that no one was doing it. So I said it was more like, I'll show you what I tell them this more like. It was more like I would come to class and I'd say, okay, who did their work? And they would say, well, my baby was sick, my mother was sick, I had to go out of town. It was as if they want me to cut their head off, raise it up, and drop the information in so that they would all have everything that I wanted them to know. So I found out that I was just repeating things over and over again, and that is why I've gone to the mini story, something that is manageable within an hour, that they can take them, absorb with them in that hour, and hopefully they can retain a little bit of that so that when they come back the next day, the next week, they can add a little bit more to that mini story, whether it's vocabulary, whether it's understanding how to use the punctuation, that it doesn't become overwhelming, because life itself can be overwhelming. Having children can be overwhelming. Being married can be overwhelming. So you have to take things in minute pieces. But finally, according to what I'm understanding you're saying, Julio, is that you have expectations, but Verbling probably has met their goal in giving you what they said they would give you. I've never seen a organization that is available to everyone 24 hours a day, and that is what you get at Verbling. It may not necessarily be everything that you want. You're not going to have 100 people of me online 24 hours a day, and you're not going to have a grammarian that's going to be online 24 hours a day that is really, really good, and you're not available 24 hours a day. But if you want what you want, you have to be willing to pay for it. Now, I think my doctoral degree cost me about $150,000. I probably won't make $150,000. I'll be dead before I pay them back, but I will be paying them back. So if you find that you want something and you're not getting it, then you may have to pay a little more for it. And that would be a plug for me. So Julio, if you really want to matriculate with conversational English, I'm available. But it would be that one-on-one class But if you don't want to do that, I'm available here as well. I don't know if that answers your question, but as I said, I did watch the teachers, and some of the teachers I thought I would have done that a different way, but I'm not them. So everybody comes to Verbling with what they bring to you, the best that they have, most likely. They're giving you the best that they have at that time. So that's about all I can think about saying on that.
I would like to add what Julio said, that what is worse, that some teachers, they do not listen what you are saying. Basically, you can check them. You can ask a follow-up question about what you said, and they would say, "What? Sorry, I didn't hear you," or something. That's really crappy.
Well, I don't know. My whole point is not to bash any teachers because we are a team. We are a team and we support each other. I do believe that sometimes when the students are in my class and they say, "Teacher, I didn't understand what you said," I think they understood what I said, but I think they're a little bit embarrassed about speaking. So they're a little bit hesitant about speaking. But either way, I personally try to give you as much as I can in the 60 minutes that you're here so that you feel that you have not been cheated. And I expect to be paid also by the company that has hired me to pay me for every minute that I am here. So I can't really speak to some teachers, but I think that you'll find the same teachers in the building where you go to school. Every teacher in your building doesn't always understand you either. But it is good to have someone available 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah, but some of them, on the contrary, in contrast, they understand you and they paraphrase you and they ask you follow-up questions. So you are feeling that they are really conversational people. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, in contrast, that some teachers are really good, but some of them, like, I don't know, it's not their place. Like, they should find another job or something.
Well, you could also turn that around. Usually there's about 3 classes going on at the same time in English. If that's not the class for you, maybe you should try another teacher.
Yes, I try many. I've tried, and you know.
So you're saying 3 teachers at the same time are not good?
No. Some of them. I'm saying some of them. Some of them are good. So basically,
But that really is life. That really is life. You're speaking about how things are in life. You will never find a situation in your life where everything is as you would want it. You will never find that in this life. You may find it in the afterlife, but in this life, you're not going to find everything to be as you want, regardless as to how much you're paying for it. But what you do is you take the lemon and make lemonade. If you've got a bad teacher, you should be able to pat yourself on the back that you recognize that that is not a good teacher. And you can recognize that, oh, I understand what is the correct way. And that speaks to your brilliance, that you know something that you didn't know that you didn't know. All right. Should I go back to
moving on?
Moving on. All right.
I have a question.
Yes. What's your question? I may as well just stop. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to stop trying to shoot this because I would be stopping in 3 minutes anyway. Okay, what is your question?
Okay, what can you do if you want to be an English teacher and you're not a non-native speaker? How do you improve your pronunciation? Because you told us about that there exist different accents. Okay.
Okay.
And it's not the same accent. Okay.
This might be one of those situations where I don't know who said it. The student asks a question and the teacher rephrases it. I don't necessarily believe that I'm understanding your question, so let me rephrase what I think you're asking and answer what I think you're asking, and then you can tell me if that's what you're asking. One, if you want to be a teacher here in the United States, you have to be certified. You have to take a test, you have to go to college, and you have to have a degree. That is probably the only way that you're going to become a teacher and be recognized as a certified teacher. You can come to the United States and teach, like I'm teaching here on Verbaling, but I'm not an English teacher, but I'm teaching. But the certification is not the same on Verbaling, and I'm not going to give you a certificate, I'm not going to give you a diploma, I'm not going to give you a degree. So
Okay.
if you want to come here, and I'm a certified coach, but I'm not going to give you a certificate to say that I coached you and now you can speak in English. The proof will be in the pudding. If I've taught you how to speak correctly so that you can be understood, then you will know by the response that you get from other people. And they're not asking you, what? What? Can you spell that? And I have to ask my students in class because I don't know what they say. I have to ask them, what did you say? Could you spell that? And then if they can't spell it, then I have to move on. And if you attend some of my classes, a lot of my classes are organized around time, because if you're speaking, you want to speak with fluency. And so when I ask you to do something, I need you to do it within a matter of seconds, not 30 seconds, but in a matter of seconds. So it's not that I'm ignoring you, but I do just move on and I go on to something else. So to answer your question, that is, I think that you asked, what is it that you need to do to become a teacher? Here in the United States, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree, and then you have to apply for a position to become a teacher. I am a teacher here in the United States. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're at the top of the hour, and 5 minutes before class ends, I always give the students an opportunity to give me the final word. As a new teacher on Verbaling, I was realizing that students need to be out of my class so that they can get to the next class, and I need to be able to start my class on time. So, final word, Anatoly, just something short and brief. If you'd like to say something, we will listen.
No, I understood the idea of the your advice.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. Daniel, final words?
Yeah, you know what? This is the first time that I have been listening a long speech, for an hour without falling asleep. So keep doing
Okay.
what you're doing. You're doing okay.
Okay, Julio, final words?
Well, I just think that it's responsibility of us, the students and the teachers, to improve this website. We want to be active learners and not just passive. So every time we got a chance, I think we should tell what we want, what we need, whatever we think we need, and just try to make this site better every time.
I agree. Roxana, final words?
I want to say thank you about that you use some new words in your excellent speech. You use some words from our yesterday lessons, and like curl up and die and something like that. And thank you for that, because it's very hopeful for us to remember these new words that we learned. Thank you.
It was my pleasure. Ruben, final words? Tatiana, final words?
Thank you very much for your classes. I'm sure you are a great teacher, and your lessons, your classes are very interesting, and it's the first time when I see such an interesting text, and for me it's very interesting to read text with pictures, not just only text, and it's easy to remember new words with pictures. What you do is great. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. I have four more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more consecutive classes that are starting. Have a nice night, nice morning, good afternoon, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.